In local matters, Virginia's governor has extended a ban on elective surgeries and postponed the reopening of DMV offices. This comes after protests were held near Virginia's capital in Richmond Wednesday. Organizers are demanding Governor Ralph Northam end stay-at-home orders in the state. Most businesses have been shuttered since March. Last week, President Trump appeared to side with demonstrators, tweeting, "Liberate Virginia." Governor Northam's stay-at-home order is set to expire June 10th. Jeff Schapiro joins me now. He is a politics columnist for the Richmond Times-Dispatch. Jeff, thanks for being with us. Can you tell us a little bit about who these protesters are and what is motivating them?
These folks were largely rounded up by some conservative organizations, some with business ties, others rights-oriented organizations. They descended on downtown Richmond in their automobiles, and there was a noisy, honking convoy circumnavigating Capitol Square the first part of the afternoon. This is, by the way, concurrent with a reconvened session of the legislature. The House of Delegates was meeting outdoors on the grounds of the square for safety reasons because of COVID, and one could hear these honking automobiles over the microphones of legislators. To give you an idea just what kind of people we're talking about, they are clearly Trump-oriented. My colleague Patrick Wilson in the Times-Dispatch's coverage this morning has a quote attributed to Linda Muller. She's from Middlesex County, which is this lovely green spot down on the Chesapeake Bay. That is big Trump country. She said, she's a huge supporter of gun rights. That was one of the reasons she was out. And that the protest was, in her words, of tyrannical government.
Interesting. All right, well, help put this into context for us. Do these protesters represent the majority of Virginians?
Oh, not at all. Virginia has migrated from red to purple to blue. That shift was accelerated with the election of Donald Trump in 2016. The Democrats now are in complete control of state government, and that is largely a reaction to the Trump presidency. The parts of Virginia that remain loyal to the president are the thinly populated countryside, areas where there's been considerable economic dislocation, and where the Republican presence is robust, but relies on a shrinking base of older, largely white, and clearly very conservative voters.
So what exactly does Virginia's stay-at-home order look like, and how is Governor Northam responding to these protesters?
Well, the governor is the only governor of the country who is a physician. So, if you will, the doctor is in the governor's office, and he is really kind of encouraged people to use their best judgment. Initially, that was his approach, but then he was disappointed, as he said, with the reaction to his call, and so he's strengthened these standards somewhat. Earlier today, for example, extending a ban on elective surgery, also maintaining a shutdown of the motor vehicle offices, a real inconvenience for a lot of people until almost mid-May. And we have seen some flattening of our curve in Virginia. We're not seeing nearly the casualties that we're seeing in a lot of the northeastern states. But the governor is standing firm. Now, one matter on which he has not prevailed, it required the consent of the legislature, was a proposal to reschedule local government elections in early May. That didn't go anywhere, so the governor has to come up with a new solution if he comes up with a solution at all. And the concern is that there would be a Wisconsin-like situation, people descending on local polls, perhaps breeding hotspots, if you will. It's not unusual that the local election officials tend to be older people, potentially more vulnerable to COVID.
So broadly, how is his handling of the pandemic going over with the majority of people there in Virginia?
Well, if one considers that Ralph Northam was facing almost universal demands for his resignation barely a year ago because of the blackface scandal, some of the public opinion polling, and again, it's just a curiosity, might have people thinking otherwise. 76% of Virginians approve of the manner in which the governor is managing this crisis, and 66% approve of his performance overall.
Nevertheless, I mean, it does not appear that this debate is going to be over anytime soon. What could we potentially see happen next there?
Well, the governor has given himself considerable latitude in terms of when he might be lifting these orders. For the most part, they would be in place. Certainly, the stay-at-home order would be in place until June 10th. What the governor is trying to do is establish action in concert with governors of surrounding states, as well as the mayor of the District of Columbia, a compact not unlike what we've seen in the Northeast and the West, in hopes of controlling the continued spread of the virus.
All right, we'll be watching closely. Jeff Schapiro, thank you very much, Jeff.
Thank you.